Sure. Here's the full speech-style version in English, flowing naturally without breaking into instructions or numbered paragraphs, just like you asked. On the 10th anniversary of his son Beau Biden's death, President Joe Biden stood before a solemn crowd at Veterans Memorial Park in New Castle, Delaware. His voice carried the familiar tone of grief mixed with resolve, as he called on families of fallen service members and all Americans to remember not only the loved ones they had lost, but the duty we all carry forward in their honor. The women and men we honor today are no longer with us, but you can still hear their echoes. Literally, can't you? Biden began, letting his words hang in the stillness of the Memorial Day morning. They're asking, what will we do? He paused, letting the weight of the moment settle on the gathered families and veterans. They're asking us to stay true to what America stands for. They're not asking us to do their jobs, they're asking us to do ours. To protect our nation in our time now, to defend democracy, to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Biden's call was clear. This wasn't just a day of mourning, it was a day to renew a pledge. Today, let's renew our pledge to honor our heroes, he said, his voice soft but firm, his face etched with the deep lines of personal loss. This Memorial Day was deeply personal for Biden. 10 years ago to the day, his son Beau Biden, who had served in Iraq with the Delaware National Guard, passed away at the age of 46. Standing here, on familiar ground, Biden was not only the president, but a father in mourning. Being with all of you, quite frankly, makes things a little bit easier, he admitted quietly, his voice catching slightly. Thank you for allowing me to grieve with you. He smiled faintly as he remembered how, when Beau was just a boy, he would come with him to these Memorial Day events, standing quietly among the veterans, listening to the roll call of names, the stories of bravery and sacrifice. This year's gathering carried extra weight. It was Biden's first major public address since announcing his own health diagnosis, a battle with aggressive stage 4 prostate cancer that had captured headlines and raised questions. Yet here he stood, determined to focus the day not on himself, but on the men and women who had given everything for the country. Politics, however, loomed in the background. Just a day earlier, on May 29, Trump Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had publicly called on First Lady Jill Biden to speak out about what she described as Biden's mental decline, accusing her of helping conceal his health struggles from the public. But Biden did not bring up politics at the podium. Here, in front of families wrapped in memories, holding folded flags and clutching photographs, he kept the focus on service and sacrifice. This is about something bigger than politics, Biden said, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. This is about America. He spoke of values, duty, honor, commitment, that he believes still unite Americans, even in times of division. Standing among veterans, families, and supporters, Biden reminded them that the fight for democracy doesn't end when soldiers come home. It continues here, in how we care for veterans, in how we protect each other, in how we safeguard the institutions that make America what it is. He spoke not just of Beau, but of every young man and woman who has gone off to serve, risking everything for a cause greater than themselves. When Beau was young, he'd stand with me right here, Biden recalled softly. We'd listen to the names, the stories, the tributes. Even then, he understood the weight of sacrifice. The audience listened quietly, many brushing away tears, some holding tightly to the hands of loved ones. Biden acknowledged the shared grief in the crowd, the empty seats at dinner tables, the birthdays missed, the holidays spent in remembrance. Grief is the price we pay for love, he said gently, echoing a sentiment he has shared often, but which seemed to hit even harder on this day. He extended a heartfelt thank you to the families present. To every Gold Star family, to every veteran, to every service member, thank you, Biden said. We see you, we honor you, and we carry your stories with us. He reminded the nation that Memorial Day is not just a day off, not just a weekend for barbecues and beach trips. It is, at its heart, a moment to reflect on the cost of freedom, a freedom bought with lives, futures, dreams. He called on Americans to set aside divisions, to stand together in support of veterans, to make sure that no sacrifice goes forgotten. As he neared the end of his remarks, Biden's voice grew more determined. We face challenges today, just as those before us did, he said. But the test of our nation is not whether we face challenges, it's how we rise to meet them. He spoke of the need to defend democracy not just abroad, but here at home, in the face of cynicism, doubt, and division. Our heroes didn't die for a nation divided, Biden said firmly. They died for the idea of America, the promise of what we can be when we stand together. He looked out over the crowd one last time, his expression a mix of sorrow and resolve. So today, we remember, he said. We honor. We grieve. And then, we get back to work, to build a country worthy of their sacrifice. As the ceremony drew to a close, the sound of taps played softly over the crowd. The breeze carried the notes gently over the rows of flags and solemn faces. Biden lingered for a while, shaking hands, offering hugs, standing shoulder to shoulder with families whose pain mirrored his own. In that space, politics faded into the background. What remained was a simple human truth: that grief binds us, that memory sustains us, and that hope, even in sorrow, pushes us forward. And as the sun began to set over the memorial grounds, casting long shadows across the grass, President Biden walked away not just as a commander-in-chief, but as a grieving father, a citizen, and a man still doing his part to honor the fallen.